Today on GreatPlacesSeen, my push west is picking up steam over long, straight Texas highways. I stay a step ahead of wintry weather under Houston's concrete spaghetti amid a distinct January chill in the air. And on to a state park with lots of history that has and continues to flow. Keep an eye out for what is about to bubble up next, deep in the heart of Texas.
Today we're driving from Seagram State Park in East Texas to Gonzales, but first we have to navigate our way out of Port Arthur and all of the refinery areas through the environs of Houston along Interstate 10. Let's do it, let's go. And they call US Route 50 the loneliest road.
Several miles down State Highway 87 is Sabine Pass, where homes and buildings are on stilts with the hope of surviving the next hurricane storm surge. Hope it's not that big.
This is definitely a very sandy place.
Today's route backtracks to State Highway 73 West, rejoining I-10 through Houston and on to Gonzales, a relatively light travel day. I rode through here at sunset the day before, so I'm getting a very good look at this major refinery town. Who knows? I may have fuel in the tank right now that came from here. It's an impressively large industrial area, continuously active, and within the even larger wetlands, marshes, and low flat country of eastern Texas. Driving doesn't get much easier than this.
Texas 73, man, is a drag strip. Straight away, 75 miles per hour. You roll on this thing. It's so straight you could land a 747 on it. Well, if they were still flying them. How about a 777? Yeah, I've got it locked in at about 68. I'm sure everybody's feeling really good. Oh look, I passed a Porsche. And it's Sunday.
Sunday in East Texas. Drag racing with RVs.
This runs through the town of Winnie, which is right at Interstate 10, and essentially the highway just keeps going straight and picks up 10. No turns, no nothing, it just becomes part of 10. The eye can see. I-10 for the most part, just a long straightaway. I'm only maybe a third of the way across Texas at this point. It's a big state. What are the odds that the exit that I need to take to get to the state park I'm going to has a Buc-ees? Okay. I'm stopping at Buc-ees. That's not an endorsement, just a goal.
Everything is indeed big in Texas. Just look at the flags. And big signs. Countless reminders that travel is about to get rough. There are the telltale lines on the pavement. This highway's been pre-treated. Somehow it doesn't seem necessary under the bright blue sky. As we always hear, bridges and overpasses freeze first, and Houston has no shortage of overpasses. Gosh, it seems half the major roads are in the air. Big state, big city, big infrastructure. Fortunately, I'm cruising through here in clear weather on a Sunday of a holiday weekend. Traffic is as light as you could hope for. Houston, we don't have a problem. I'm thankful for a nice, drama-free ride through and past the city. Feeling good, as my exit is already in front of me.
I don't know how many of these I passed on the way south to Tampa, Florida, and then through Texas. Oddly enough, I know you're not going to believe this. This is my first trip to a Buc-ees. My wife beat me there when she went to Florida with a friend. I've just never stopped at one, so time to check it out, see what all the fuss is about. Well, that was pretty easy. Some fudge, brisket sandwich, and some Buc-ee nuts. Thank you, Mr. Buc-ee. Man, it's insane in there. Wow, they must be making a ton of money in this place. And think of how many there are. I looked around the Houston area. My gosh, it was like a dozen Buc-ees. Some of them were only maybe a quarter mile or a half mile apart. Man. All right, I can say I've been to Buc-ees. Actually, in the trailer, I've got a Buc-ees mug that my wife had bought. So maybe I'll use that tonight.
Literally minutes away is the park entrance. Really cool old stone wall that the CCC built coming into the park. The Civilian Conservation Corps of the 1930s. Passing the old wall, you get the feeling you've stepped back in time along a simple, winding road with a canopy of old trees pulling you deeper into a place that's been here a really long time. Look at that. This is on the main road. You know it can get serious if the flood gauge goes to 5 feet in an elevated location. No worry about speeding here. The park road definitely shows its flood scars. You can see where many a big rig has bottomed out. Not me. Just enough time for a quick ride. There's still enough sunlight to see a few places. Almost next to the campground is the stately refectory. Built by the Civilian Conservation Corps in the 1930s during the Great Depression, young men, many in their teens, worked hard building this and the rest of the park, learning life skills at the same time. The refectory was designed to emphasize the park's natural features. Almost a century old, it remains a perfect gathering place for large groups and special events, still appearing much as it did in the 1930s. I'm heading farther down Park Road to find a good trail that won't take too much time. In the woods, another CCC project catches my eye. Installed in 1936, This water tower features one of the few operational ramjet pumps in existence today. The pump is unusual because it uses no electricity. Driven by the force of a rising column of water from an artesian spring, it pumps water into a cistern at the top of the adjacent water tower. The pressure of the water forces its clack valve to close. The water pressure then forces the no-return valve open, and water flows into the air dome. Air becomes compressed as the water fills the air dome. The pressure of the compressed air forces the no-return valve closed again and propels the water into the delivery pipe and up into the water tower. It originally supplied the nearby group picnic shelter with drinking water. Today, the pump help maintains the level of the swamp around it, keeping the ground wet enough for an abundance of dwarf palmettos to thrive. Pretty cool. Here's an overlook of the San Marcos River. Water has shaped this land for millennia. The river winds around and through the park, powerfully shaping its banks and bringing nutrients and seeds throughout the park when it floods. Strands of cottonwoods and sycamores are living testaments to those floods. It's fast-flowing water. No wonder it's cut deep into the land. It originates at San Marcos Springs and travels 75 miles where it empties into the Guadalupe River near Gonzales. It's certainly easier to ride a bike than drive over this. Here's my trail. Look where I ended up. I want to see the other campground and Oxbow Lake. To get there, I have to cross the river, and fortunately it's low enough that I can. Look at that aqua color. The fast currents, steep cliffs. The water swirls, doubles back, and breaks over the rocks below. There's a lot of force even though it's low. It's easy to envision a raging torrent ripping through when the water level rises. That's where I came down. Here's where I go up. In low gear, of course. I'm losing light. I'll have to leave this for tomorrow. Check out my other channel, GPS2, and you can see a video of the full campground tour. Plus lots of other videos, outtakes, expanded video that I didn't use for my main channel, and some special things that I've put on there. It's kind of like that bonus DVD you used to get. You probably won't watch everything, but there'll be some things you might be interested in. Home is in sight just down the road. Check out that 100-year-old grill. A beautiful winter sunset through the bare trees, followed by a deep, dark, star-filled sky.
It's an early start today. We're a little below freezing outside, comfortable inside, but it'll be okay outside once we get going. Good early morning from Palmetto State Park in Gonzales, Texas. I gotta remember where I'm at here as I am skipping across the United States heading west. I am staying in a state park each night, and what I'm trying to do is explore that park by bicycle so I can maximize the distance covered and then put it away, get in the car, and move on. It's a little bit of an ambitious schedule, but so far, I think it's working out. So the plan for today, as I have done in the previous days, is I'm staying on Eastern Standard Time, which I'm accustomed to, and rising at about 6:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Now, of course, I've gained an hour. I'm in the Central Time Zone here. So it's 5:30 in the morning. I'm not a morning person, but this works to my advantage because that extra hour really helps. You know, when you're RVing, there are a lot of things to keep up with, a lot of details to attend to. What happened yesterday? I drove a few hours. I had a relatively short day and some sunlight left, so I rode for the last hour of the day. Essentially, what I'm doing in the morning is just getting ready for the day, getting something to eat, making sure everything is travel ready, and then hitting the trails, because by that time, the sun will be up, or it'll be sunrise. Today is a cloudy day, and we'll be able to see a few things here in Palmetto State Park and get a sense of what this place is all about. A lot of history here as I was reading about it, so it should be interesting to see these areas. And that's the schedule for several days as I skip across the United States heading west. The counter is bare. I don't keep too many things up top, so it's easy to get ready and roll.
The first trail takes me through the swamps to extinct mud boils and artesian wells that once supplied the water to the swamps and lakes. Sadly, with the lowering of the water table, we no longer get to see most of this naturally. This area is unique because of the convergence of multiple ecozones. From the towering sycamores along the river to the stubby dwarf palmettos in the swamp, some plant species in the park are found almost nowhere else in Texas.
This area is marked on the map, but not on the trail. The ancient mud boils. You can see the depressions in the ground. These are very close to the campsite. You can just imagine once upon a time the mud bubbling up through here. And it is a pit. I mean, you can see how low I am in relation to the bike. Gotta come up this little trail. There's the other one next door. A few more hidden in the trees. I'm now starting to see cactus everywhere. Long ago, I got a cactus plant from Texas. There's a big story behind that one, but it's still growing after a couple decades, and it's just like this. My cactus came from the home of a former president, and if you can think of former presidents who live in the state of Texas, you might guess. These things are so resilient. They will grow just about anywhere, it seems. So I don't know why they don't grow anywhere. But in Washington, D.C., mine thrives.
The park says this trail is the best place in the area to see mesquite trees. Native to Texas, this hardy, drought-tolerant tree is an invasive plant in some places, such as ranches where it outcompetes grasses.
The forecast called for clouds, although it looks like it's going to be a rather beautiful morning. You can figure out why they named this Palmetto State Park. It's supposed to snow here later in the afternoon, about 4 p.m. according to the forecast. I'll be long gone. I'll be at my next campsite by then. Central and West Texas, though, are getting a cold snap. This is January 2025, Inauguration Day, and forecast lows are in the teens for both here and my next stop. Beautiful palmetto plants along the trail. There's so much more to the park than the areas that I have picked out, but I've tried to hit some of the highlights so we can get a really good sense of each park that we're visiting. I certainly couldn't cover this much ground this quickly on foot. An old iron wheel, and it's in this tree. I mean, it's in the tree. Look at that, the tree's growing around it. What do you suppose it was once used for? I'd say this old wheel has been here a while. Look at that, right through the middle of the tree. Amazing. Well, they certainly don't have to worry about anybody picking it up and taking it off anywhere.
Time to see the other side of the park. This campground is mostly primitive, although water is available, and there are many picnic sites here too. But I want to see another CCC creation, an artesian well. Check out these beautiful little ponds here. As with so many of these state parks, the Civilian Conservation Corps was here and built a lot of infrastructure during the Great Depression, which we still enjoy today. This is an artisan well and ponds that the CCC built between the years of 1933 and 1966. Coming up on it from a distance, I thought they had made it in the shape of a frog in a pond. It's not. It's a collection of rocks. But look at the warm water that is bubbling up here. Geothermal heat. Even from this little one on the side. Way cool, even though it's warm. The water table here has lowered dramatically over the years, and the actual mud boils have gone extinct. The springs needed an extra bit of help in the way of pumps, and so the Civilian Conservation Corps recreated this to give a glimpse into what the real ones look like. Now, as I'm standing here, it is below freezing outside, so you can understand why a lot of these large birds are around this pool. Very warm. Enjoying a nice morning by the pond. Landscape architect Pat C. Fleming was the one who designed this area in the 1930s. He guided the water's journey from its artisan geyser pool downstream over waterfalls to several small pools and then Oxbow Lake, which actually, this is a lake back here. It's not part of the river. Here's a cabin you can rent right by the pool. While the artesian well is man-made, this 4-acre bow-shaped body of water is natural. Once a part of the San Marcos River, Oxbow Lake was formed when erosion cut a wide meander from the main channel. This is a pretty big lake. You find a lot of lakes in state parks, and most of them are man-made. This one was made by nature. That's for when it's a little bit warmer. You have a second little pier just under the bridge. There are several species of fish in here. It's a pretty big pond. Today, the artesian well and mud boil recreation keep water levels up in these 3 area ponds. Nice large picnic area with those big round grills and lids. One last ride, I'm covering the loop around the lake. Not much water view until you get more than halfway around in this direction.
This little camera mount is squeaking and I apologize for that noise. I'll try to take as much of it out as possible. Oh, that cactus back there in the woods. There's a sign for poison ivy. I didn't know they were actually trying to grow it here. One of the informative signs of horticulture in the park. Bur oak. Very common here. Live oak, as opposed to the opposite variety. This borders a little Baptist church. Nice little loop. Back under the bridge. And here we are.
Time to head back across the river and get the bike back in the car. I need to empty my tanks, although the dump station is officially occupied. Even the park officials are dealing with ice. Well, thank goodness they stopped playing with the ice just in time. This is the fun part. Look at that. It may look kind of flat on the screen, but I'll tell you, there are some serious ruts going on here. I'm going to try and take the high line. At least both the car and the trailer are made to go off-road, so that's about as off-road on the road as you're going to get. That's the worst of it. The rest of it's okay. It does give you a sense of how much flood water comes through here at times. And that little gorge is deep. It must be getting runoff elsewhere into the gorge, which this little park road kind of snakes along. It's nice. This is one reason why I like coming to places when it's cool. All that brush is down, leaves are down. You really get a sense of what's around you. I know, I've said it before. There is one stop I want to look at out here. So the park ranger told me, as he was looking at the frozen faucet, that they're expecting 2 to 3 inches of snow here this afternoon. Very unusual for Gonzales, Texas. Fortunately, I'm heading west. I will avoid it, but I will not avoid the cold. It will be warm enough today I don't have to worry about anything freezing, and I'll have a hookup tonight, so the trailer will be warm enough again. Nothing's going to freeze. I have some water in the holding tank already, so I should be fine. Nice little pull out there. Lots of cactus. Wow. That's a big grove of cactus. But what I saw coming in was right here, so we're going to take a quick peek at
this overlook. It looks to be a very nice scenic area. Let's check it out. So here we are in Gonzales, Texas, heading west on I-10. Get an overview of the farmlands around here and the trees. Some Texas pastures. I thought maybe it might overlook the river, but I don't see it down there unless it's hidden. Looking down there's some kind of a creek bed, river bed, looks to be dry.
Well, that was a little anticlimactic.
There's a little bit of cactus down in the woods. I'm sure in the summertime this is very green.
Thanks for joining me, and follow GPS to the next destination.